This is Boxing Tickets NI. We are delighted to be joined once again on Zoom with the hammer, Padraig McCrory. How are you, mate?
Yeah, mate, everything's all right. Just now we're 10 days out from my first showdown. Probably a couple of years ago, I it's something that I never thought I'd do, but we're giving it a go. Uh, and things have seemed to be going okay so far, and I'm looking forward to it.
I guess it's like, they always say, you have to take yourself out of the comfort zone. You have to try these new things. They always say spice is it spice is a new way of life, or I don't know. I'm trying to come up with sayings off the top of my head, but they always say that sort of trying new things is sort of good. Like, how have you found, like, I know you've been managing obviously fighters for a bit, like, how have you found, like, I guess you've come through probably the whole circuit sort of, starting off your career, SSE, then obviously your fights in the Devenish, which sort of catapulted your career and took you to that next level. Like, how have you found, like, I guess understanding a bit more of the back end of the business? Maybe you wouldn't have understood. Like, are you finding this nerve wracking? Are you nervous for next week?
Yeah, I've definitely I've had a few sort of sleepless nights, just like overthinking it. I'm a terrible overthinker anyway. But yeah, it's a different sort of a different pressure. I don't know if pressure is like the right word, but yeah, different pressure. But I've had people like to lean on. I've had Jamie Conlan. I've had like to help me out. I've had Steve Ellis who's matchmaking for me, and he's helped me with a lot of paperwork stuff that I've never done or seen before. And I've had like offers from everybody from all the guys about the scene. Mark Dunlap's offered me like any help that I need as well. And it's it's definitely it's much different than just managing because managing's a few phone calls, a few emails. This is a wee bit more intense, and it's only small hall. But we have 10 fights on. We have fighters that are starting their journey, fighters that are looking to take the next step in their journey, and then and it's it's like for me coming from that scene, it's quite it's quite like rewarding that I can help them and take the next step in their career and also start their journey. But also with that comes a bit of risk on my own side. But it's 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 close now, and it's just a big getting the first one over the line.
It's crazy to think, obviously, 8 years ago you were getting ready, obviously, to make your own debut, and obviously now you look 8 years on. Does it feel like me and you? It's obviously, I know I'm a couple of years older than you. I know I always joke and say that you're older, but does it feel like a sort of like a foot, like we could both come through that sort of stage in life where, like, the football manager, you were being a manager of champion, clubs and things like that, and FIFA and stuff. Does it feel like that only in terms of like a boxing stage? Like, you know, you're obviously now creating the cards that you would have sort of fought on before. So, like, does it feel like a sort of football manager sort of type thing to you?
Oh, it's been a whirlwind. Like definitely back then, like I definitely wouldn't have thought that my career would have been like as good with highs and lows, but also that I would have like got to this sort of stage in like in boxing. Just before 8 years ago, I was like him in hand like with boxing, which wasn't like very unusual like for me. I my career has been like fairly stop start as an amateur, and then I got married 8 years ago yesterday. I found out that my wife was pregnant, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna give boxing like a real go. I think if I hadn't got married 8 years ago, I probably would have ended up on Kieran Farrell's first show at the Devenish. But with me getting married, I wasn't able to go on that card, and I got a bigger opportunity. And then and then I started, and then I took a step back like to the Devenish, and some great nights in there. So two good knockouts back to back in there, and one of them really they got my career like rolling. But I couldn't have seen this like happening at 29, which was 8 years ago, and as I say, it's been a fun journey. I've created new friends. I've created great memories, and now I'm I'm in a position where I can try and pass my experience on to my own fighters, but also create opportunity like for other guys as well.
Particularly obviously because you've gone through that, you've gone through a sort of small circuit and stuff as
Yeah,
well. You know what it's like. And I just put a post up here, obviously to say it's 10 days out, sort of, and it's like, you've got to that stage where you become a big name, obviously, in Irish boxing. You obviously headlined what, three or four cards. You've been in America, you've headlined in Falls Park. You've been there and you've sort of done it all. So what better man to sort of start the next sort of generation coming through on the small hall circuit and bringing some of these fighters through who'll all look up to you, Paddy, and go, we want to follow in your footsteps. We want to be headlining in Orlando. We want to be doing this. We want to be doing this. So what a perfect man to have to lead the charge of the next wave.
yeah. Listen, it's probably very few that get the opportunity. So uh, I feel like I feel like if my journey gives like fighters hope that that they can like do something like in boxing then brilliant. But also they also need to be like realistic as well. They these cards, these types of events is where like dirty work's done. Um, I always see a post pop up like every now and again. Like there's a small hall show and there's a stadium, and it's kind of like to get here, you need to come back me here, and like it's very true. But unfortunately, well, fortunately, as your career grows, as you develop, you you build more of like a following. Um, and the more success you have, that grows as well. But if my journey can give, like especially like my own fighters and the other lads, a bit of hope that they can achieve something like in boxing, then great. But I also think it's important to be like realistic that that these my type of journey doesn't happen very often. Like to 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 start boxing, like when I say pro, there were people like surprised. Um, I'm sure there's people that are pro now that they are thinking the same, but that if, so I was saying that they were like surprised that I was actually pro to get to like main event 4 or 5 times and have a great journey and boxing some of the biggest stages like in boxing. It's great, but I'm still also extremely humble and real to what I had to do to get there.
It's that hard work and determination that gets you there. Like I remember obviously early on, Paddy, when we done interviews and you were sort of saying, it's like I'm not a ticket seller. You nearly got to the stage where you're annoyed where people were calling you a ticket seller. You were more than
Mm.
that, but you have to come through that level. You have to be able to sell tickets to get these opportunities. And you putting in that hard work and selling the tickets and driving all around everywhere. I remember you obviously nights before the weigh-ins, driving around collecting money off people for tickets and but that's what you have to do. And unfortunately, some of the newer ones coming through think that just putting a post up on social media once every couple of weeks is enough. They sell them a load of tickets.
You know what? It's not it's not it's about like building relationships, but also you gotta be like ready like to do that work like as much as posting like nearly daily about tickets, which I still do. I'm still meeting people like the night before like my weigh-in for my last fight. Like with tickets, so that doesn't change. But I build a rapport with people. I build friendship, but also I hustled social media. Um, I was part of a couple of football teams, Swift, CSP, and they've always backed me. And I was part of a GA team like as well also. So all them like relationships and communities that I was part of, I've always stayed like part of them and they always come back to me. So social media posts are important, but also building building a community of friends from your small circle and making that bigger is important as well.
Obviously, on the card, there's three debutants on the card, I believe. Obviously, Thomas McCann. Um, there's three, two,
Jennings.
two debutants. Thomas McCann's on the card, and obviously then your own fighter, and obviously Jack McGivern. Obviously, he's obviously the brother of James McGivern. What
Yeah,
obviously,
is it
um,
McCann, Jennings, and McGivern?
Jennings.
Yeah,
Do you know what it was? I was getting mixed up with Jennings because obviously he was supposed to fight on Jay's card, which obviously
that's right.
was
Yeah,
cancelled then
yeah.
in February. But there's three debutants on the card. Obviously, and one
Mhm.
of them, and being your own fighter and Jack McGivern, like with Jack, and Jack's probably going to have this for a period of time where people's going to say you're James McGivern's brother, so he's going to have that sort of added pressure. I think you said he's actually better than James as well. Is that correct?
Listen, he's a very talented fighter. He's a very big lightweight. Uh, James is a special fighter. Like as you've seen from his last performance and like at the SSC, he's I like I remember like watching James in amateur and thinking of it, he was very good. I miss Jack a bit because I'm a bit older, but from what I gather, from what I've seen in the gym, he is a talented guy, and one I think can take inspiration from what I've done because I can see I can see bits of me in him, and I do believe like Theo also I do believe that that he has the ability to like go far in the game if opportunity's right, if timing's right, which I think is the massive thing in it, like in boxing. But yes, I think he is the better brother, better looking. James won't take that well. Nah, very talented guy, and I'm looking forward to seeing what we can do with him.
Theo obviously is one it's selling quite a lot of tickets as well, and obviously getting these opportunities, and probably looks a lot to your career. I know he's going to become a dad. I think I'm right in
Yeah,
saying as well. So obviously he's going to be looking. He's going to be copycatting you. He's going to have four kids and stuff as well. But he's selling the tickets. He's creating a hype around Cookstown as well. And is it? I guess in some ways it probably feels awkward to you in the way it's one of your fighters looking to you as a role model and looking at your career and going, I want to match that. Does that feel odd to you in a way, or does it feel inspiring? I guess that someone's looking at you as a role model.
I don't know if I don't like I don't like the like say them things because I don't want to come across it like to be like as if I am something. But if like as I say, if you can take like inspiration from like my own personal journey, like in my career, then that's great. But again, Theo has showed in his last three fights. I think he's been fairly matched. He's had three tough tests against three guys who always come to fight. Um, and then his last fight at the Ulster Hall, um, I thought he performed really well. He was a bit of a showman. He showed a different side of him. And the end types of performances and everything else that comes around that is what helps build your profile.
We obviously have the Belfast homecoming of the beast, Barry McReynolds. Obviously,
Mm.
he's sort of a bit different in the way. Barry's obviously a very good guy and everything else, but he's not one for the big social media. He don't want to hype himself up, but he's doing it the proper way, and the fact that he's not building himself up on social media. He's going, come and watch me, see how I perform in the ring, and you become an instant fan. Like another one to come off the Holy Trinity trail, and one that obviously had a lot of high hopes, and he's getting to do things the proper way. Obviously, he made his debut in Dublin on JB Promotions card. He's now fighting obviously your card, and he's obviously hoping for these bigger opportunities. Maybe if Matchroom come back in the summer to Windsor Park or something like that, maybe he'd be hoping to be on a card like that. But I'm sure he obviously proud to be playing a part in the early stages of Barry's career.
Yeah, listen, I when I first signed pro, I was in our gym for a bit, and again, an exceptional like, talent, a very big puncher, um, and which is probably his reputation has made it a bit harder to get opponents. But yeah, listen, very privileged like to have him on the card. A great kid, and I checked him with his team the other day, and tickets and stuff seem to be going great. So he's an example that he keeps a low profile on social media and stuff, but has a great backing from his the community, his friends, his family, and his reputation of being a devastating big puncher is going to help sell tickets as well, because that's what people want to see.
He'd nearly be doing the Padraig McCrory, obviously, and sparking someone out like a deck chair and the devenish and a big promoter coming and signing them. They were going, was that Padraig McCrory fighting or is that Barry McReynolds?
Well, I would love him to get a promotional backing, because that's a massive help. But my promotional backing was getting signed with Jamie Conlan, which has been a great journey and a massive plus to my career. But um, them types of things can boost your profile, and if someone that goes and does something like that, it's going to be a memorable night for them.
Obviously, me and you obviously had a great connection. Obviously, the last probably coming up now 8 years, be 8 years now in a couple of months. It's strange to think that obviously me and you's always had the Korean sort of talk going on, and you calling me a sheep shagger, Owen O'Neill even called me a sheep shagger as well. We have a Korean fighter in the card, and Matty Boreland, who's sort of taking the boxing like a duck to water. He's probably brought something new, a different area of the boxing. I think it's his fifth pro fight within a year of turning pro as well. Like, sells a lot of tickets, brings a Korean army with him. I think you've even put out a couple of posts out as if you're nearly like a wee secret Korean fan, like Owen O'Neill there with his Korean jersey training last week. But is there a method to the madness with Matty? Obviously, we know you have a super bantamweight fighter yourself and Gerard. Is there a method to the madness? You're maybe trying to potentially do that fight, or
I don't know. Gerard's coming up big off at the feet, so we're going to get him back in the win column, but that's for a different conversation. But I think for me to get money on the card was I think a massive bonus as well, because you see what he brings to the shows. He's an exciting style. He's aggressive. On Korean, they seem to get behind him. I seen there's like a billboard and up like and stuff up like up in Korean of him. And I've always kept from I got to know you. I've always kept like an eye on the results, but I'm a Reds man, and I'm going on Friday night, like to watch them in the semi final of the cup. But Matty brings excitement to the card. He brings numbers. And as you've seen from it was his third fight at the SSC. He jumped in with Turndall, who's a good fighter, and especially for your third fight, that like for me, I thought that was a real risk, and it paid off for him. And people are starting to know and speak about like Matty, and I know Jamie Conlan's a big fan, and them types of fans, and people knowing about you will stand by him in the future, because they'll want him on their cards.
speaking obviously of another guy that obviously sells a load of tickets, another guy that's obviously part of Ryan Burnett's stable. Like, it's crazy to think obviously your first promotional card, you'll have a unified world champion trainer obviously on the card, but obviously James Freeman obviously just becoming dad there for the first time as well. He's going to have his first fight since becoming the dad. He's sort of looking to build a bit of steam now towards maybe the domestic sort of assault, but obviously the Armagh connection, obviously we're sort of nearly getting the 6 counties in Northern Ireland sort of all together. Obviously they're coming from, I would say there's probably somebody from at least every county. They'll be there next Saturday night.
Actually, I didn't even think about it, but yes, yeah, the there's a lot of counties that are represented like on the show. Freeman again, massive ticket seller. I got friendly with James as well. From his career, he boxed from the field. He first started with Dan, and that's how I got to know him. He was a great GA player. Just became a father. He's always in great shape, and he's stepping up the 6 rounds like Theo and like Boreland, who's already, but he's fought it. So Theo and Freeman, I think Freeman's probably like done 6 before, but get them in 6 rounders Um, can I put push their career on to till like domestic titles, which is like probably like what they want to do. So again, excited to have James on the card. Uh, and let's see what he can do. I see in here that there's a few fights out there that can be made for him, and getting the six and looking good is probably going to open doors for him.
And obviously, just finally, obviously speaking on sort of the rest of the cards, I'm sort of looking at the timer here, and unfortunately, Zoom only gives you 40 minutes, and you were sort of going, I've got things to do, but obviously
Yeah,
your stablemate and obviously Hijjah McMahon makes obviously his Belfast sort of return, obviously after fighting in Dublin. Connor Kerr obviously after back to back title fights with Rudy Farrell's on the card, and obviously Bernardo Marime, I think is that how you pronounce?
yeah,
Obviously boxed here as an amateur. He's 4-0 as a pro, and obviously returning to Belfast, but that obviously brings up the 10 fight card. So it's sort of something for everybody on the card.
yeah. How long do we have left?
We have 8.5 minutes.
Okay, good, good, okay. Yes, Tomas McCann, he's starting his journey. A local lad from about the road. I'm looking forward to seeing him. Um, they're making good noise about about like his ability. You have Kerr, who's coming off the back of a defeat, two back-to-back like title fights against the Rudy Farrell, who also you can throw in the mix with Gerard and boreland. Um, and then who's on?
Bernardo
McCann,
and
Bernardo,
Bernardo and
Bernardo.
Hijjah.
Yeah, Bernardo. I trained with Bernardo boxing Commonwealth Games. I was due to go to them. A very good fighter, very good fighter. Even back on with you for a bit, but now he's ready to get the ball rolling. And I think in a couple of fights, he's ready to step up to English or British level. Hijjah, Hijjah is coming, making his Belfast debut, coming from the white collar scene where he was flattening everybody, and I've done a few rounds with him, and he's very exciting. For a guy with very little like amateur background, um, I think within 3 or 4 5 fights under Jay, he can go into like a Celtic or Irish title fight.
But definitely, as I was saying there, obviously, there's a mixture for all. I guess I'll probably, I know we've obviously a little time left, but speaking obviously on you, obviously your last outing, obviously against Craig Richards, you sort of had a couple of weeks, I've sort of left you to your own sort of devices, sort of haven't been torturing you. But when you sort of look back, like if I was to say, Paddy, I would probably say, as I know you, obviously from down the years, you'll be very critical of yourself. But in some ways, I thought Craig Richards was just hard to beat on the night. He was just like he sort of defended himself very well. Like there was nowhere for you to throw a right hand because the head was nowhere to be found. Like he was playing hide and seek. But when you look back on the fight, like how do you reflect on it?
Uh, Very disappointing. Very disappointing. There's there's a few things that I'll speak about. Probably after my boxing career's like finished, but yeah. Listen, I don't want to take anything away from from Craig's win. He was coming off a defeat, and he's putting it all on the line as well. A defeat for him there, it was probably like the end of the road. But a g- uh, he's a very good fighter. And he showed that against the best fighters in the world. It's just one of them things. I didn't show up in the night, and I got to deal with that. Um, but yeah, very disappointing. Very disappointing. Again, stuff I'll go into at a different time because I haven't really spoke about it like publicly. Only because I don't want to take away, I don't want to make excuses. So that's it. Like, and I don't want to take away from the Craig's defeat or sorry win. But the night is a night that's been hard to deal with from what happened. But coming back into my like house, my family, my 3 kids, and a child on the way, and I'm very privileged to be in the position that I'm in. And on reflection, I kind of think uh, that I'm very blessed, and that's it. I still have some decisions to make that I've put to the back of my head because of the show, and that's my focus at the minute. But I will. I still need to have some deep deep conversations with myself to what's next. There's been a few things talked about, but again, it's all irrelevant at the minute. It's still quite like raw for me because I am so disappointed. I thought it was no matter what happened pre-fight. I thought showing up, I could have, I would have showed up like on the night, and unfortunately, I didn't. I think boxing's one of them games. If you go into it and you're not fully there, it, it can be a dangerous sport. And in fairness, I, I didn't take like much damage. I just took a big body shot, and that was it. But apart from that, I came out of the ring safe, and on looking back 4 weeks like before that show, unfortunately, John Cooney didn't didn't, and that's the dark side of boxing, and again, I don't want to get into it like too much, but I'm home and I'm safe, and that's the main thing.
Yeah, I guess probably in some ways, probably everybody sort of forgot about everybody else in the card. Obviously, after the Lewis and Paddy situation, obviously Stephen Ward with a career best probably performance and beating Tommy,
Mm-hmm.
and you getting beat by Craig, and even to think of Rudy and Gerard and stuff like that in the card as well. Like a lot of it was forgot about on the card, but I know that you're the perfectionist in yourself. Like if you had a world class performance, you probably still wouldn't have said you were happy with your performance. It's just the perfectionist sometimes that you are, but as you say there, the most important thing is coming home, and unfortunately a few weeks previous we didn't get that with John, and you know I guess it's going to take a lot of us a lot of time, particularly you as fighters, Paddy, because I'm sure I haven't probably spoken this much about anybody, but what happened to John at home for a lot of people and sort of going, everybody's blessed to get home after a fight and sometimes take the sport the sort of wrong sort of esteem sometimes to think it's guaranteed you're going to go home. There's nothing guaranteed, but the most important thing is you went out, you fought, you done your best for what you could. You didn't get the result, but you know you're home to your family. And that's the most important thing.
Yeah, listen, I said on the lead up to the fight, I said the main thing was to come out safe, and it's probably not not the right frame of mind to go into a fight with, because you got to go in there. You have to go in there like willing to put it all on the line. Uh, so and when I came out of the fight safe, I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy with what I done in there. But again, that's another conversation for like another day. But as I say, I'm very blessed and I'm very lucky to be where I am now, speaking to you about an event that I'm about to run in 10 days' time with some of the best talent, up and coming talent in Ireland coming through, and again, the important thing is we're all fit and safe and healthy, and we're able to get on with with our lives. So yeah, baby number 4 on the way, show number 1, and all being well, it won't be the last. Um, and I look forward to seeing what boxing has for me in the coming months, but also in the coming years.